New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello has been fired. Code red, everybody alert. Sandy Brondello is out on the market. We got a shark out on.
The WNBA just dropped the biggest shock of playoffs, and it came straight out of New York. The Liberty stunned everyone by firing their legendary head coach, Sandy Brondello, without warning. But here's where it gets wild. What looks like a disaster for New York might actually be a golden opportunity for Indiana. If you're Caitlin Clark or a Fever fan, this move feels like destiny. Imagine Brondello leading the Fever to the next level. Should Indiana grab her now? If you agree, type it in the comments. Grab Brondello.
I think Sandy Brondello is the best option for us to get the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Bring in Sandy. Bring in Sandy, and it's going to be showtime, because I believe if you get Sandy, Sabrina Ionescu's a free agent. Breanna Stewart is a free agent. We talking big business now. We talking big boy.
Let's be real. Brondello isn't just another coach on paper. She's the one who could unlock Caitlin Clark's full arsenal and elevate her from rising phenom to undisputed GOAT. With championship pedigree, elite experience, and tactical brilliance, Brondello offers Clark both the freedom to dominate and the structure to lead at the highest level.
She's very fast. Let's drive off the season, but get our first All-Star. We get to play again. In the All-Star, I'm excited. A little bit. I think it's part of the All-Star. Going to coaches play that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
And here's where the real problem begins. The louder fans call for this move, the clearer it becomes that the league would dread it. Because if Caitlin Clark and Sandy Brondello ever joined forces, the WNBA's balance of power would flip overnight. It would expose jealous veterans and shatter the half-baked narratives Commissioner Kathy Angel-Burt keeps pushing. In this video, we'll pull back the curtain and reveal exactly why this potential partnership doesn't just excite fans. It terrifies the league to its core.
To me, Sandy doesn't strike me as a yes man. She strikes me as somebody, when she's talking to the general manager, she's going to speak her mind. She's just not going to, yes, GM, yes. Yes, general manager, I agree. Yes, general manager, I...
So, how did we even get here? The Liberty had a strong regular season, loaded with talent, winning big games, and looking every bit like true contenders. But when the postseason lights burned brighter against the Phoenix Mercury, cracks started to appear. To be fair, injuries were a huge factor. Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones were all banged up, yet none of them backed down. They laced up, fought through the pain, and battled for every possession. Stewart even erupted for 30 points in the elimination game. A gutsy, unforgettable effort. Still, heart and grit can only take a team so far. In the end, the grind of injuries and fatigue proved too heavy, and New York's promising season came to a heartbreaking close.
27-17, ravaged by injury all season long. Jonquel Jones out for a good part of the season. Breanna Stewart dealing with a knee issue during the playoffs. They lose.
Here's the twist. After that crushing defeat, not a single player pointed fingers at their coach. No complaints, no whispers, just the opposite. The team stood united behind Sandy Brondello, promising to come back stronger with her leading the way. Clips of Stewart, Ionescu, and others backing their coach spread quickly online, making it crystal clear they believed in her. And then out of nowhere, the rug was pulled. Just one day later, the Liberty's front office, led by their GM, announced Brondello's contract would not be renewed. Just like that, she was gone.
The New York Liberty have let go Sandy Brondello. Well, in their terms, they will not renew her contract. In our eyes, they parted ways. She was fired, essentially. But not as bad as being fired, I guess. But that's just how we talk out here. Nonetheless, I'm shocked. She's been a coach there for 4 seasons. You look at the past 3 seasons, she made it to the finals in her 2nd season. She won the finals in her 3rd season, and they lost in round 1 this year. Outside looking in, you look at this franchise and you see that's a successful franchise. New York is a powerhouse in the W right now.
The reaction was pure chaos. Fans were blindsided. Analysts ripped the move as reckless, and even rival teams, who might gain from New York's collapse, were left shaking their heads. No one saw it coming. Nobody expected the Liberty to cut ties with the coach who transformed their franchise into a true powerhouse.
What would you say to those who question whether Sandy should be here next year to coach you guys again? I'm not saying I question it. There's just some people that do.
I mean, to anybody that kind of questions Sandy being here, like, this is a resilient group, and she has our back and we have hers. And the way that she continued to kind of, I don't know, deal with the cards she was dealt, like, was incredible. It wasn't easy for anybody, but she came in every day with a positive attitude and a mindset to put us in our best positions possible and best foot forward. So we're not going to be a team that points fingers. You know, there's a lot of us that could have done better this season, but we're still going to fight and show up for each other every single day, and I think that's what's the most important part. So we have Sandy's back.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's call it what it is. Not just a coaching change, but the dumbest move in Liberty history. They didn't just lose a coach. They lost the architect of their championship culture, their best shot at another title, and unleashed ripple effects that could reshape everything.
I just saw this news and I went, what the bleep? Literally, audibly out of my mouth. What the?
So why are people calling this the most catastrophic decision in Liberty history? Stick with me. Because once you step back and examine Brondello's resume, her legacy, and what she achieved in such a short time, it becomes obvious why this move is indefensible. Sandy Brondello isn't just good, she's elite. One of the most respected, decorated, and sought-after basketball minds in the WNBA. And that reputation wasn't handed to her. She built it brick by brick, season after season.
2 WNBA championships, and the year before, in 2023, won the Eastern Conference title. I mean, what are we doing? She's got a .600 winning percentage and a ton of experience.
Look at her track record. In 2022, Sandy Brondello took over and instantly turned the Liberty into playoff contenders in her very first season, setting the tone right away. By 2023, she pushed them even higher. 32 wins, just 8 losses, and a trip to the finals. They didn't capture the trophy, but the message was clear. New York was back.
Last 3 seasons, Sandy Brondello, 32-8, made the finals, lost to the Las Vegas Aces. 2024, made the finals.
Then came 2024, Brondello's masterpiece. The Liberty captured their first ever WNBA championship in a dramatic Game 5 overtime thriller against the Minnesota Lynx. Her squad clawed, fought, and etched their names into history, delivering the ring New York had chased for decades. Fast forward to 2025, and disaster struck. Injuries shredded the roster. Stewart, Ionescu, and Jones all limping through the season. Yet somehow, Brondello still pushed them back into playoffs. Think about that. Most coaches would have crumbled under those setbacks, but she still produced results. That's why her players stood so fiercely behind her after elimination, and then the front office dumped her. No explanation that made sense. No clear plan for the future. Just a cold, calculated dismissal. It wasn't just messy, it was insanity. And it's exactly why fans, analysts, and even rivals are still calling this the worst move imaginable.
Moments after a painful Game 3 loss, Brondello said the group was, quote, very disappointed, but she couldn't be more proud of her players. We faced adversity this year, which happens in sports, but we left it all out there. And that's all you can ask of this.
Here's the stat that stops you in your tracks. In just 4 seasons with New York, Sandy Brondello racked up 107 wins against only 53 losses. That's not just a solid record. It's the kind of resume franchises dream about, the gold standard of consistency and success. So, when the Liberty GM stepped up to the mic and announced Brondello was out, fans weren't just surprised, they were floored. This wasn't a routine headline. It was shockwaves tearing through the entire WNBA.
Outside looking in, you look at this franchise and you see that's a successful franchise. New York is a powerhouse in the W right now. So what is the issue? What is the front office looking at? What are the owners?
But here's where the plot twists. The fallout didn't just put New York in the spotlight. It instantly shifted attention to Indiana. Why? Because with Sandy Brondello suddenly on the market, fans across the league rallied around one demand. The Fever must move on from Stephanie White and hire Brondello. The buzz wasn't quiet, it was deafening.
You know, the Stephanie White defenders are going to be thick and deep. I don't care. I don't. She's a clear upgrade. And you've got an elite, all-time superstar.
Scroll through Twitter, YouTube comments, and Facebook groups. It's the same message everywhere. Asterisk hire Sandy. Bring Brondello to Indiana. Clark deserves her. Asterisk fans aren't offering polite suggestions. They're issuing ultimatums. Why? Because in their eyes, Stephanie White has overstayed her welcome. Too much talk of favoritism. Too many questionable rotations. Too many moments where she benched Caitlin Clark at the worst possible times. The narrative is crystal clear. Indiana's progress isn't because of White, it's in spite of her.
Sabrina, you want to come for the party? Sandy, would you like to be in Indiana? Have you ever tried the Indiana barbecue out in the hood?
Fans are flat out saying, even if White wins, we don't care. To them, Sandy Brondello is the coach of the Fever's future. Thing about that, they're not waiting around to see if Indiana delivers a title. They're already demanding change. And at the heart of it all, fueling this firestorm is Caitlin Clark. Because let's be honest, the push for Brondello isn't about Indiana as a franchise. It's about the dream pairing of Clark and Brondello. Fans see the vision, a coach who truly understands Clark, trusts her, and unleashes her instead of boxing her in. And that's the kicker. The part the league doesn't want you to remember.
I think we need to make a move to get Sammy Brondello to the Indiana Fever, man. I think this is Sammy Brondello with Caitlin Clark. This is the closest thing we would get to Lisa Bluter.
Roll it back to the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, when Caitlin Clark stunned everyone by pulling off something no player had ever done before. She literally traded for a coach. Clark made sure Sandy Brondello was the one leading her squad. Think about that, a superstar captain reshaping the All-Star lineup, not for players, but for a coach. That wasn't just strategy, it was a bold statement.
Ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
Thanos did? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah. Oh, I gotta go look at all that. Traded? I have no idea what the teams are. Second time in history now. Oh. Geez, as a player. And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up after that. He goes, created history. This is awesome, I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
Once they shared the same sideline, the chemistry was undeniable. Clark was sidelined with groin injury, but Brondello never treated her like a mascot. Instead, she made Caitlin an honorary assistant coach, clipboard in hand, drawing up plays, firing up teammates. Clark looked like she was already running the league, and Sandy amplified her voice every step of the way. Brondello even said publicly that Caitlin could coach as much as she wanted. How often do you hear that from a veteran coach? Almost never. That's the level of respect Brondello has for Clark.